Today I wanted to do a review of our boosted boards version 2 Dual Plus, one of them with an extended battery range, and I'm here with my wife Sarah.
Hi.
And we got our boosted boards in June of 2017. We bought them after we decided we were going to move to New York City, and we sold our cars, and after we sold one of our cars we bought boosted boards to replace our car when we were in New York City. But before we jump into the review and unboxing, I just want to go over what is a boosted board. For any of you guys watching who don't actually know what a boosted board is, it's an electric powered skateboard. So it's a longboard, it has a motor and a battery on it. You control it with a controller, and you're just able to go up to 22 miles an hour on it. And they say with the regular battery you can go 7 miles. If you're going the full speed, you're more like gonna get 3-4 miles out of it. And then with the extended battery, they say you can go 14 miles, but again at top speed you're gonna get more like 8 miles out of it. So now let's jump into the unboxing. This is from June of 2017 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Our new vehicles just came in.
So after we unboxed them, we actually took them outside to try them out with a bunch of our friends for the first time, and it was kind of comical.
Faster, faster.
Oh, they're in beginner mode.
Oh. Beginner mode?
Beginner mode.
Well, get out of beginner mode.
Beginner mode's too easy.
Okay.
All right,
Well,
switch
for
it.
you.
Eco mode.
Josh,
What's eco?
unlock your car.
Oh!
Josh,
Expert mode.
Oh
Can you switch up your mode?
no! Hey, goal, something to work towards. Yeah. Whoa! Lean in! Lean in!
Time for pro mode.
There's something above expert. I'm pro.
Yeah, going pro. Alright.
use your phone.
Keep me safe, Jesus.
Yeah, good luck.
Unless you're putting resistance. How was it?
It was real fun. A little scary. I got the speed wobbles because I'm not good at riding boards.
Whoa, hey Sarah, you come back. Here's Sarah's first ride.
Stay.
Backwards. Can you stop? Stop. What do you think?
I like it. I mean, on beginner mode.
So, what were your first impressions?
First impressions, I really love it. I love longboarding, so I feel like it's similar to that, just faster. But I crashed my board after about a week of having it, and so I was like building up my confidence, and then I just like lost all of it because crashing on a boosted board is painful. It just like dug like into my skin, like it took a huge chunk out of my hand, and took a really long time to heal, and so I think I just kind of lost all of my confidence. But I do think that it's an incredible board, though. I really do love it. I just think that I'm not as confident as you should be on a boosted board.
My first impressions are, I absolutely love it. Whenever we got it, I literally would ride till it was dead, charge it, waiting. It's like a kid whenever you get a RC car for Christmas. You play with it for like 6 minutes or however long the battery lasts, and then you wait 2 hours for it to charge. That was me with the boosted board every single day, all day long, charging, riding until it died, charging, riding until it died. And me and my friend Josh, whenever Sarah was not using hers because she was at work or something, we would just ride them both up and down the river in Tulsa all day. And it was like, just immediately fell in love with it. I cannot, it's just like, to me, there is no greater fun than the freedom of a boosted board because you get to go so fast and you don't have to work for it. Because like with a bike or a skateboard or anything, you're pushing and all that type of stuff. Like on a boosted board, it feels like you're flying because.
Why would you want to exercise?
Right, exercise for losers. So we've had the boards now for 10 months because we've lived in New York City for 10 months, and Sarah has not really ridden it since she fell in Tulsa.
I don't trust the New York traffic. I couldn't even not wreck in Tulsa, Oklahoma like where there's no traffic. There was one car, that's why I wrecked. There was one car who was coming toward me and I didn't know what to do, so I slammed on the brake, which is a big mistake. Like, because the boosted board is going so fast and it just immediately stops and you fly forward. And so I can't even handle one car on the road. What about New York?
So Sarah needs some practice in New York riding, and she is a little too nervous to even get out there and try it. So she has a $1,500 skateboard. No, this is it. I have two $1,500 skateboards that I trade off back and forth riding because Sarah has yet to ride hers. So it has been a very poor investment on Sarah's part.
I'm not getting rid of it though. I like it too much. I don't know what that means.
That means that you can't get mad at me any longer for every time I say we need to get out on the boosted boards and you're like, no.
Yeah.
So next part of this video is us going to be riding in the boosted boards. So now let's do some frequently asked questions, and I think we have a different perspective on this first one of beginner versus experienced. And as a beginner, like if somebody wasn't really experienced with skateboards, do you think they could get a boosted board and pick it up pretty quick?
Yes.
Yeah, I do as well. I can't have that experience because I was already experienced with skateboards, so I can't really answer it. I feel like yes. And
here's the thing, I have been on longboards before and penny boards, but I'm not like an experienced skater, like by any means. I just go cruise on the river and push the board a few times. Like I'm not very good at it. I think that you could pick up the boosted board so easy. Like all you have to do is know how to balance on a board.
Yeah. So if you have terrible balance, you might have a hard time.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a little weird the first couple times that you ride it in general.
Yeah, it's a little shaky.
But I think once you have, decent balance, especially on beginner mode or anything like that,
yeah,
easily done. Right now I'm hanging out with John Hill, Christina back here. We're on Christina's very first boosted board ride. She literally tried it like an hour ago on beginner mode, and now we threw her on faster mode and we say we're going 1.5 miles to Union Square.
Exactly.
So throwing her in the deep end. You know how sometimes you just need that daily dose of risk of death?
And that's the today.
Yes.
That's the today.
I don't feel like there's anything much more exhilarating than flying through traffic on a boosted board in New York City. But that's just me. Christina, have you ever skateboarded before?
Like lightly, not intentionally. Like somebody's had a skateboard and I've ridden it from point A to point B, but not a mile away.
This is just a note to Sarah, who owns a boosted board and has yet to use it in New York City. Get on your boosted board. Christina has more balls than you. How's it going?
I don't know if my face is just frozen, but I just can't stop smiling. I'm so excited. This is fun.
So is a boosted board worth the $1,500 in New York City? I would say absolutely if you're confident enough to ride it and that you're going to use it as your primary mode of transportation. Mm-hmm. No, there is no better way to get around New York City than a boosted board. And there's no better electric skateboard than a boosted board from everything that I've seen online from all the reviews.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are our positive thoughts about the boosted board. Now I want to talk about just any sort of negative things that we have had with the boosted board version 2 Dual Plus. So Sarah hasn't had any problems other than she fell.
It's perfect for me, except I don't know how to ride it.
The first thing is that the boosted remote does not tell you whenever it is dying. So the remote has this green light on it, and it stays green up until about a half mile before it dies. It turns red, and then all of a sudden it's dead. So there has been probably 4 or 5 times that I've been out on the board. It has a green battery level on the remote. The boosted board itself has plenty of battery, but then all of a sudden the remote just dies because it didn't give me any sort of indication that it was going to die by making a noise or anything like that. And then at times that I have noticed that it turned red, it died within 3 blocks of it turning red, and I had to push it all the way home. My boosted remote just died. The boosted board has plenty of battery, but the remote died, so now I have to push. So the other kind of negative experience I've had, and it's not necessarily negative experience necessarily, but I have had to change 3 belts since having it in the 11 months, I guess, that I've had it. And now 2 of those I would say were definitely my fault, not necessarily like just from regular wear and tear. I think one of them was a regular wear and tear. The 2 of them were because, one specifically was because I rode it in the snow. Do you guys remember a couple days ago whenever I was riding this in the snow? Not that we didn't already know that was a bad idea, but turns out it was a bad idea because I ripped a belt. And the other time was because of stopping way too aggressively. So when we first moved here, I was riding really aggressively, and I would go full speed, and then when it was time to stop, I would full brake, and it would just... And you would actually hear the motor slipping a little bit. And so just by doing that over and over and over again, and the belt just ripped off. So now I'm more conscious of not being so aggressive with the stop. I'll get up to speed, but then if I know an intersection is coming up, I'll let off and kind of coast and start to brake a little bit, so that way I'm not putting all that strain on the belts. But that being said, with aggressive riding and some stupid riding, I have gone through 3 belts in 10 months. The third negative thing is the most negative, and that is the Bluetooth has stopped working on my board. And I found that out because I bought the extended range battery, and you have to update the board using the app on your phone in order to be able to use the extended range battery, and it would not connect to my phone anymore. So I contacted Boosted Board, I sent them a video of what it was doing, and they said that it's gonna have to be sent back to them in order for them to fix it. So that kind of sucks, but they are doing it for free. They're taking care of it. They did send me a prepaid shipping label, all that type of stuff. I ended up just putting the extended range battery on Sarah's board since the Bluetooth was working on hers and I could update the app. And so I've been riding hers around, and I'm about to send my board back to California for repair. If you are gonna get a Boosted board, or maybe you already have one and you're watching this video, I do wanna give a few pro tips with the remote that I actually did not know until much later in owning a board. The first one is a common one, but if you press the on-off button 3 times quickly, it will beep and tell you what mode you're on. So right there, and it just beeped 4 times, that means it's on expert mode. But what I didn't know is that if you hold the rocker backwards and then do the 3, it actually goes down instead of up. So you can go from expert to pro mode easily, versus what I used to have to do was go press it 3 times into beginner, press it 3 times into eco, then press it 3 times into pro mode. So you can actually go backwards, which I didn't learn until like 2 weeks ago. Another pro tip that I didn't learn until a few months ago is that if you want to turn the board and the remote off at the same time, you can actually hold the rocker off. Don't hold the dead man's trigger when you do this, or the board is going to go. If you hold the rocker down and then hold the on-off button, it turns the board and the remote off at the same time, so you don't actually have to bend down and turn the board off. Another quick pro tip is that we bought some Velcro, and you put a tiny piece of Velcro on the remote and then another piece on the board, and that way when the boards are hanging up in our apartment, we can just put the remote on the board, and then we don't get the 2 remotes mixed up, and we don't have to hang up the remote separately. So whenever Sarah and I recorded the first part of this video, I hadn't done like a full long range test of the new extended range battery, but I've done that since. In expert mode, I was able to get almost 9 miles out of it. That was a regular kind of real world test. It wasn't like full throttle the whole time. It was going, stopping, and coasting, going to different places, and I was able to go almost 9 miles. And so if I was to drop that down into pro instead of expert, I would be able to go even farther. So the extended range battery is definitely worth it if you have a longer commute. Also, side note, I was able to test out a Boosted Mini S, but I can't actually post any of the footage right now. So that's going to be a separate video coming out soon, so make sure you subscribe to this channel so you can see that video. I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on this channel. Also, my wife and I do a podcast called Deeply Curious. It comes out every Tuesday. You can subscribe to Deeply Curious's YouTube channel with the card that's on the screen right now or in the description down below. You can also check that out at podcast.codyjensen.com. So if you like this video, hit the like button and comment down below below any of your thoughts. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.